Correct. We were understanding what? A grid. Now if you see, so our concern was the gap, right? It is not showing the gap like this. Let's try to do in this way. Let's remove. So here we can say B, C, D. Now what's happening here? See, the grid areas, whatever the grid areas we are having, so that grid areas are creating a cell. So this much is one cell. Also if you write A, so below C we need C. Now the template says that I will not allow you to change the structure. That's why it creates the problem. But here if you see, so this is the first row, which means that somewhere from here to here, or we can see that row. Yeah, see here. But concern over here is that it will not show you the gap between these rows. There is a reason. Reason behind is that this whole would be considered as one, what you can say, cell. So here if you see, this is the one cell of the grid, and that's why here you will not find any gap. Hello?
Yeah. What is cell?
Cell means this one. In a grid we have this one cell, right? If you see the table, so this is a cell for a table, this is a one cell for a table, this is a cell for a table, this is a cell for a table.
But even if there are multiple, you can see the table is not in table.
Please say that again.
If in case there are multiple rows, you can say combination of one column and one, for example, 0, 0 is the one cell.
So presently if you see over here, you wanted to create the grid, right? In this form. You wanted to create a grid in this form where you have unlimited amount of rows but 8 columns, and out of the 8 columns, these first 4 would be occupied by the grid area. First 4 would be occupied by this grid area. Which grid area? Grid area A. So which means that this 4 and this 4, so total there would be 2 rows in a grid, but whatever is getting presented to you, that would be, this would be considered as a one row which is composed of 2 grid rows, and that's why whenever you inspect it, it shows the same manner. So these 4, 1, this is a grid template area A, grid template area A, grid template area A, grid template area A. This is also AAA, and that's why this one becomes a one portion of your grid. This much becomes one portion of your grid, this much one portion, this much one portion. Actually this is a grid only internally, but you have decided to use in this way.
Now suppose I want to put in different areas in each cell.
Each cell,
Not comma, not comma.
just a minute.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, next line, H, I, J, K, L, M, like that.
Now refresh it. Yeah. So here you have left it blank. See, there is nothing. But here, dot means what? Blank. I don't wanna use this much grid area. But this I need. Now below this, you can do something like this. I would be having, sorry, I would be having A, A, this dot C, D. Something is missing. Or just make it like this. A. Now can we write, just a minute. Okay, so once you do this dot, after this your grid structure gets decomposed. That's the dot is. Dot means what? You need to make a space. Now just remove this line and refresh it. Now here if you see, so this first 4 columns are of A. So this is the first row inside the second row. 4 are A, rest of these things are like this. But in here, so this is the first row, second row, third row. Third row dot means what? No grid area is assigned. So for this column, this column, this column, this column, no grid area is assigned. Okay, but here grid area B assigned, C and D assigned. So first row initializes the grid structure. First row initializes the grid structure. And here dot represents the skipping. I want to skip. What I wanted to do? I want to skip, and I don't want to assign any structure to it, and which happens in this way. Are you understanding or not?
Yes, I mean we are using this grid template area, we are just assigning the area, and actually it is not a stable structure.
It's not a table structure, but internally grid is nothing but the table only. But whatever gets formed, right? Whatever gets formed, you cannot consider that as a table. So this can be uneven like this.
So for atom 2 there are 2 rows. So can I write atom something 2A into second row?
Now see, if you want to do more strategic things with the grid, then you need to go with this part only. Start column, end column, right? So this will give you the more control of defining the grid. But this, if you have a static structure, you know how exactly things are going to happen. In that case, you may choose to go with something, the grid areas. So out of this table, how many places are occupied with the area A? How many places are occupied with the area B? That is decided by this grid template area. So this is a one way of defining the grid. This is the another way of defining the grid. And this will give you more control than this. You getting my point or not?
Yes, I am getting, but I mean, why so complex? Why straightforward we can?
And that's why you go with the bootstrap. Right?
Yeah.
So it's a plain CSS3. There is no framework over here. We haven't used any framework in between. It's a plain raw CSS3.
So basically, this grid template area just used to create a grid area for the page which has some static structure.
Now I will clarify your doubt. Okay. Let's say day 43. What I want, my page structure is fixed. So if this is my page, and I want this one to be the header, left hand side would be the menu, and you can say this much would be the main section, and here I would be having some right subtopics, and below would be the footer. I want to design this thing. I want to design something like this. So this is my header section. This is my left menu. This is footer. This is main and subtopics. Right? I want to design this thing. How do you design? There are multiple ways to design this thing. Let us do it in a 43. Index.html. Let's create the HTML. Grid template demo. Okay. Style. So here we would be having main. Let's have a div only for now. Just to avoid the confusion, let's have a div. Inside that I have one more div called as header. Header. Then I will have one more div menu. Then main. Then topic, subtopics, or just say right for better understanding purpose, and footer. Okay, these things I have. Now how do you arrange it? So here we can say class grid container. So let's create grid container. We can have class grid container, display grid, and this is, we can say, class item 1, class item 2, class item 3, class item 4, class item 5. Now here let's create the items. .item1, 2, 3, 4, and what 5. Okay, so grid area item 1, grid area, say header, grid area header, grid area menu, grid area main, grid area right, grid area footer. Now here just divide this guy into the rows or columns. So you can say there might be 6 columns. We can decide that 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in the first row is completely occupied by header, grid area header, 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 header. Now here if you can see, how many columns are the menu? 1, 2 columns are of the menu. Then here there is no header. A menu can be 2, main can be main, and right can be 1, right? In this row also you can define, right? And in this row there is a 2 menu and whole and soul is footer. Can you see? You have created the grid, and then you are going to assign now to the grid template areas. So here you can say grid template areas. So we have how many columns? We have 6 column, header, 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 header. Name should be same. Then in the second column, what we would be needing, menu, main, main, and right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is correct. Then menu, footer, 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 footer. Now write grid gap or gap, gap 10 px. Day 43. Yeah, header, it has placed something like this. First row is completely header, yeah, if you see the first row is completely header. Let's give some grid auto rows property. Yeah, now if you see let's write a dot grid container, and whatever divs are there, say background color RGBA 255 255, it's white, and opacity is 0.8%. Text align,
That comes as a background attachment.
background color, text assign center, and font size 3 em. 3 what? em. Can you see header? See how you define the structure: header, then this, then this. Grid template area, if you have something fixed in your mind which is not going to be changed, you getting my point?
Yes.
Which is not going to be changed, it will help you. Background color, header, this much is menu, main, right, and the footer. Grid template areas, width 100%, height 100%, HTML body, HTML width 100 VW, height 100 VH. So equally distributed. We can change it also. So if you want to limit the header height, we can say 10%. Okay, now gap is getting created. Actually background color is this, and here this much gap is getting created because you have given this thing as auto. You need to change this thing. 1FR, no, it will not work because, so you don't need to set the height over here actually. So this much would be the height of the header. So this is going to be decided by your structure: header, 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 menu, right, and like that. So item 1 is nothing but this is your item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4, item 5. So exact structure in front of you. So whenever you have something like this fixed, whenever you have something like this fixed, You may go with what? Grid template areas. Yes.
Can you just go to code?
Go to what? Code?
Code. So here, I just want to understand the hooks filter. First, bottom. So we created 5 divs.
We created what?
5 divs
Uh-huh.
in a grid content.
Okay.
And for each div we assign the atoms. Atom class.
Correct.
Each class we specify the grid area.
Yes.
Means we assign the area name.
Yes. Like this.
Area name. And then we decide which area should we display where.
In the template area.
In the template.
So you have 6 rows. So first row 6 out of 6.
So you divided the page into actually 6 columns.
Correct. This one. So this is the requirement. On the requirement we just draw on the grid. It is like we create the image. If you want to copy the
columns we can create?
n number of columns we can create. No problem. Any question? Google index page. We wanted to implement what? Google index page. So this we wanted to implement. So it is irrespective of the grid and this thing. Tell me how you will implement this. How do you implement this? Can you see all these are the flex layouts? Whenever you see flex, that is the flex. Okay. HTML5. Google index. This is the navbar. This is the main section and the footer. So in the main we can have nav. Writing nav doesn't make it a nav. A section and the footer. This is the footer. Inside nav is navigation. Semantic tag in HTML. Okay. Semantic tags. Do you remember? All these are the semantic tags in HTML, which defines the page semantic. Who is what? This whole is main. Nav stands for navigation bar. To define the page sections, HTML5 introduced the new quality of the tags, which is nothing but the nav tag. Semantic tags, which defines the page semantic. What do you mean by page semantic? They define which area does what. Nav area stands for navigation. Section, a page section. Footer stands for the footer. There is a header tag also. In a header tag, technically you need to write the nav. This is not a head tag. This is the different than this. This is the semantic tag. Okay. Now let's try to take this in a shape. So in a nav, this can be the unordered list, Gmail images, UL, here we can say li, Gmail. See, what is the HTML? Just structuring whatever we have studied. Just not why I'm refreshing this. 43 Google index. Gmail images. Okay, there are two icons also. We'll see about the icons. This Google, then this text box, these two buttons, and this thing. This will go inside a section. We can have a div, and in a div, img, let's get, this is the image, copy image address, paste it, this is the image address, alt tag, Google logo, refresh it. Actually it is there, right? It is there, it's in the white. So if you give style, background color black, you will get to know the Google logo. Okay, but let's not use this logo. We can use it, absolutely no problem. We can say Google logo images. Let's use this one. Open image in. We can do that black one also, but I want to keep it simple. Save it like this. Okay, then the text bar, below this there is an input type text, then there are two buttons, input type button, Google search, I am feeling lucky. I am feeling lucky. Two buttons, I am feeling lucky. So I ask you to build this, right? Now look, jump to the footer. You can add this afterwards. Jump to the footer. So we have.
What was that? The languages.
These are the anchors.
Languages, but in HTML.
Anchors. These are the anchors. This is one text and the anchors. I will keep this thing for you. Okay. Now in the bottom, we can say a div we would be having, and UL, this UL about li, about See, I'm just creating structuring. HTML is for structuring. Advertising. Advertising, business. There is one more li. Privacy terms settings. So from nowhere it looks a Google page, right? This structure, and there comes the CSS style, and there comes what? The CSS. So this is the main tag, first HTML body, width 100 VW, height 100 VH. Then there is a main tag, display flex. I will say, the minute I say display flex, something gets changed. Flex direction column, right, one below other. Flex direction column. Width 100%, height 100%, no change. Now there is a header. Again we can say display flex. Just refresh it. There is a nav, there is a UL. Okay, so let's apply class to this guy, and we can say nv dot nv. Again I can say display flex, refresh it, right, Gmail and images, and so it is inside this nav. And flex direction row reverse. Okay, not required. So to this nav I can apply width 100%. Just refresh it. So this guy is also display flex. This guy would be also flex. Now I want to, so this is the nav we are working with. Now I want to take this to this end. Can you tell me what? So flex direction,
Yeah.
row reverse. Can you see these guys gone to the end? Now this dots I need to remove. Can you tell me what? How do you remove the dots? What is that? Dot means what? UL?
This, no?
Yeah, that is the list. In a UL, there is one property. Type UL remove bullets in CSS. If you want to remove the bullets in the CSS, list style type none. Copy it. List style type none. Yeah, bullets have been removed. So these guys are at the end, bullets have been removed. Now primary working with the header has been done. Now this guy's section, and section is having this div. This div, let's apply a class, and we can say main. Here we can say section mn section.mn, and here also display flex, and the flex direction column, flex direction column, this, okay, this is the input, yeah, this is the mn, and the flex direction, let's make column, flex direction column. So here we have used the children. If there is a section and section is having a children called as .mn, then apply this thing. So we can say width 50% and background color. For understanding purpose, I'll just write this. You see this color, it is this. I am feeling lucky. So let's put these two things in a one div. Move this. Can you see here? They are coming one below other. So let's put it in a div and refresh it. I'm feeling lucky. And this text box.
Please go to the group.
Mm-hmm.
Means on a single line.
On a single line. If you remove this, that will become a part of the flex. So one below other.
So why we need to define flex for each section? Is it possible to define once?
So this problem is not suitable for the grid. So how do you place the things in a grid? That's not possible. So this page is not suitable for using the grid. And that's why for arranging each and every element, we need to think in the terms of flex only. So arranging each and everything, we need to think in the terms of flex. So this main is a flex, so we can arrange it. So I want this to be at the top, then I want this input box below this, and then these two buttons. So which thing gives you this facility? Flex column. So this image, input box, and two buttons. That's why we selected flex over here. That's why we selected what? Flex over here.
My question is like for the main if you define flex, then you cannot automatically.
No. Flex is not,
for example,
not inherited. Flex is not inherited property. Flex limited to this main. If you apply flex to this, children of this main would be getting a flex applied, and that has happened. But what about the children of the header? If you want to arrange the children of the header, you need to again apply flex to the header. If you want to arrange the children of the section, again you need to apply the flex separately to the section. So these top level elements can be arranged by means of this flex container main. But they cannot be, children of them cannot be used same flex that you have applied over here. You need to have a separate flex for them. That's why we are applying this as a flex, this section as a also flex. Correct? Now they are at the left hand side. Justify content center to the main. Justify content center to the main. Okay. Main is a column. Align items center. Main axis, cross axis logic. And you may want to remove this. You may remove this. if you want to apply a border, 1px solid automatically, sorry, black, your border is there. Actually border is there, you don't need to write it separately. Can you see this much is the thing? Now header, you can apply a border, 1px solid red. Can you see? So it has this much. Now width section to the header is not applied, width 100%. Can you see? Width was not applied. Now NV, this section is, just remove this width and see how much it is. It is this much. To the section we need to apply the width 100%. This is the width of the section, and I want to reduce it to the 50%. 50%, exactly at the center, 50%. Now flex direction, column to whom, just a minute. Okay, what we will do, we'll continue this tomorrow. Is that okay? I will push this code. You can continue.
What will you I'm having this?
Just a minute. Stop the recording.